I'm assuming you've read that title and you're thinking to yourself, hey Saranyan, what is Apple's next big thing? And well, I think it's going to be Apple's upcoming AR glasses, which are apparently called Apple Glass, and I think they're going to be big enough to kill the iPhone. Yes, I just said that, and yes, I'll explain. Let's get into this. You see, the iPhone as a product is maturing. It's nearing the peak of its capabilities. I mean, take a look at the front and what we've got left is just that fat, chunky notch. And yes, it looks quite outdated right now, but it's getting smaller this year, and maybe in a few years, it will be completely gone. And after that, well, we really have nothing to add to the front of the iPhone. And yes, I know that we can keep adding cameras on the back for no reason. I mean, we can go up to like 300 possibly, but instead of milking the iPhone, I think Apple would just kill it. What about the millions Apple makes from the iPhone? Do you think Tim Cook doesn't like money or something? No, Tim Cook loves money. The guy sells $799 computer wheels. But the iPhone isn't actually Apple's main source of revenue anymore. While yes, it still plays a major factor into Apple's revenue, it definitely has seen a pretty sharp decrease. And it's due to the simple fact that, well, iPhones aren't changing anymore. Year over year, we're not getting huge improvements, and so people are just not finding an incentive to upgrade to the latest iPhone. This would also explain Apple's recent shift of focus to services. Now, this is where I wanted to point you guys towards a video from Polymatter. It's on the grand theory of Apple. It's a very, very good video, and I highly recommend you watch it right after mine. Linked below that like button. Anyways, the main point I'm trying to get from that video is that Apple usually cannibalizes their own products with new products that are smaller and less complex. You see what I'm trying to say? And guess what? We've seen this happen before. The iPhone itself was produced to cannibalize the iPod, and yes, the music player did stay in the lineup for a while, but very shortly after we saw a massive drop in sales and Apple just killed it. And yes, I know the iPod Touch still exists, but honestly, like, what, 10 people probably buy that? So honestly, I think the same thing will happen with the iPhone. The iPhone will stay alongside Apple Glass for a while, but then as Apple Glass becomes more advanced, as it becomes a better product, the iPhone will just disappear. And I'm happy to say the Apple Messiah himself, Mr. John Prosser, and his recent leaks on Apple Glass kind of just support my whole theory. First of all, the price. This was a huge shocker for everyone. I was expecting these to be at least $1,000, but it's apparently, allegedly, gonna be $499. What? That is incredibly low for what is a product category that no one has ever dared to mass manufacture. I mean, if you take a look at the closest thing to Apple Glass right now, which is Microsoft's HoloLens, they will set you back $3,500. Now, I know people are skeptical, but I do believe in Jern, and also it conveniently supports my theory. You see, Apple wants people to hop onto the Apple Glass bandwagon. They want people to try these and use these on a daily basis, and to make that happen, the price needs to be accessible. And this is possibly because Apple wants people to get comfortable with the idea of AR glasses, since, hey, that just makes the whole transition from iPhone to Apple Glass that much easier. Oh, and another leak I wanted to mention, they will look and feel like a regular pair of glasses. This will be a major factor for the average consumer to buy Apple Glass, because unlike Google Glass, which made you look like a retard, Apple Glass will look like, you know, a pair of glasses, something completely normal. That friction to dip your toes into the world of AR is simply not there, because they look and feel like any other pair of glasses. Now, I do hear the fanboys, I do hear the guys at the back, Tim and John, they're here again, and they're complaining this time that John has already told them the Apple Glass will be very limited. It will be relying on the iPhone. It can't do anything by itself, so how exactly is it going to replace the iPhone, you idiot? Well, I have a rebuttal for that too. You see, John has compared the functionality of Apple glasses to be very similar to the first generation Apple Watch. And yes, while the first generation Apple Watch was very limited in what it can do, we all know that the Apple Watch has blossomed into something way more powerful and ultimately way more independent. I think that's what's going to happen with Apple Glass 2. Another huge reason I think that the Apple Glass will become something way bigger is the UI it's running on. It's going to be running on Starboard UI. I know that's not a made-up name, okay, it actually makes somewhat sense, because if you take a look at the iPhone UI, that's called Springboard UI. So it's safe to assume that these will resemble in some way. And if you think about it, it kind of does make sense to cripple the first generation product because, well, Apple wants people to use this, and if they were going to go all in and make this ultimate AR experience, it's probably going to be huge, chunky, and expensive. Basically something like, you know, HoloLens. And the thing is, nobody would buy that. Literally no one. You see, the techies are in awe of HoloLens, they're amazed by it, but let's be honest, nobody in their right mind would wear this on a daily basis. I mean, it looks like wearing a helmet just on your face. It's just stupid. But the key point is that the average consumer won't spend that much on a pair of AR glasses. It's new tech, it's something they've never used. Why would they spend upwards of $3,500 on something that just brings cool things in your eyes? So crippling its abilities to make it lighter and cheaper is the way forward, because if you think about it, making it cheaper means that more people would get to use it, and if more people get to use it, more people start to rely on it, and then ultimately they'll be willing to pay more for it, which I think is the end goal. And of course, with the higher prices, Apple can offer something more. They can offer features like eye tracking maybe, or AR gaming, or, you know, their recent acquisition of Next VR suggests they're offering some kind of concert / matches VR experience. It just sounds really cool, okay? I'm super excited. And I think at that point, it would be capable enough of replacing the iPhone. Now, all of this is just a theory, a tech theory. Okay, that was a tad cringe. I'm sorry about that, but I am speaking the truth. This is just a theory. Nothing is based on inside info. I assure you, I have no inside info from Apple. I'm just too relevant. So yeah, take everything with a grain of salt. But I do want to hear your thoughts, guys. I want to hear your views on this matter. Do you think Apple Glass will become something huge, or do you think it's just going to be an accessory to the iPhone, much like the Apple Watch, in which case you're just wrong? And in that case, I'll sign off. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you subscribed, and stay tuned for more content. See ya.